Welcome back, everybody. I'm GQ, and I'm with Boulevard. We're your host
Woo!
at live from the bench.
What is good?
Well, you know
Late
what's
night
good?
edition.
Football is good,
Mm-hmm.
and we got
Football
some
is always
topics to
good.
discuss. So, without further delay, let's talk about it.
Let's do this shit. I can't ever get out the first minute without cussing.
And that's
Oh,
why we
fucking
be
well.
demonetized if we was. So we got power rankings. You know we do it every week, so let's get it.
Yes,
We
we
got
do.
power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And Boulevard. Boulevard is our what would they say? The resident power
Yeah.
rankings guy. He's our resident analyst for the show.
All right.
ESPN should hire him.
No, it shouldn't. I don't want to be under that sound. Fuck, I look like Matthew
Damn.
Berry.
Yes.
No.
Fuck you.
If you give me that McAfee money, we can talk. But we going into my Week 5 Mighty Morphin Power Rankings. Oh, yeah. This is some of my favorite shit. This is such good shit. All right. Where are we? Number 32?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got the 0-4 Bears. They lost to Denver 31-28. Really, 4 games in, the Bears got 2 sacks on the entire season. But, it's a weekly thing. And this week, they had a 21-point lead in the third quarter. And they lost 24 straight points, 17 straight in the fourth. This team, they can't win. They're incapable of winning. They don't know what it takes to win. But I think we've said all this stuff already when it comes to the Bears. That they just aren't capable of closing out wins or bringing it home or making that play that's necessary at the end to slow the other team's momentum. No, they're incapable of any of that. But somehow offense got to 28 points this game, so that's a plus, right?
Is it?
I guess it is for the Bears. I mean, any progress is progress with them. You just got to hope something improves week to week. If it's Fields actually competing 20 of his passes, 20 or 30, that's a plus. Take what you can get with this team. It's not a very good team.
It's not a very good team, but it's funny because I want to sit here and say that they might be a better team than the Giants because did they? I feel like they outscored the Giants this year.
No, that seems unlikely.
I feel like they might have.
No.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like as bad as they are, they score more points than the Giants have.
They definitely did this week. That's for true. I mean, the Giants ain't too far ahead of these Bears. I mean, they're almost just as bad. But we'll get to them because I got quite a bit to say about them too.
Well,
you got anything to contribute? Anything further, Bears?
I mean, I feel like this is the right spot for them. The Bears have played like they're not playing like the Bears. They're playing like a piece of. They're bad.
Oh yeah,
they're bad.
You were trying to figure out what they would refer to me as in this segment. Well, since this is the Mighty Morphin Power Rankings, I think I'm more akin to Zordon.
Oh my!
Hey, you're my alpha. You're my ay. Thank you. I needed that because we're going to number 31, another winless ass team that just can't do it. The Panthers. 0-4, they lost to Minnesota 21-13. Where do we begin? Okay, the Panthers control the clock. They ran 68 plays. On those 68 plays, they got 232 yards. That's not good. Those are not good numbers. No touchdowns, and they can't stop the run at all. So, what do you do with this team? I mean, they're losing to Minnesota. Minnesota's got one weapon, and they're losing to them. I mean, that weapon got off. Jefferson always gets off, but yeah, there's no real hope in Carolina. They're almost as bad as Chicago, but from the power rankings won't reflect it. There's definitely teams I feel are probably more deserving at number 31.
No,
But, no,
Panthers are just as bad as they were last year.
mm,
They drafted a quarterback. They traded up to draft the quarterback, and it's like it's not yielding any results. It's not yielding enough results to be confident in that first round pick.
no,
I'm
absolutely
sorry.
not.
When you're in a position that you need to win now, and what you're doing isn't helping, I don't know. Can we? I don't know. I mean, I know it's too early to give up on Bryce Young, but you know me. When it
Barely.
comes to size, I give up on him
Yeah,
early.
maybe Bryce Young is the problem, but I mean, he can't be the only problem on this team. There was a reason that Frank Reich's the coach this year.
Oh, it's definitely Jack Tepper, but
Yeah.
I talk about him all the time.
Mm.
I mean, he's the guy that let go of Cam Newton and Ron
He
Rivera
is.
right
He
after they
is.
got to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah. 15-1 season. Wasted it.
yeah.
Wasted that whole team's momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of team who's finally getting momentum now, at number 30, the Denver Broncos. This team's been horrible the past couple this season and last season, but they got a win against the only team they could have possibly gotten a win against, the Bears, 31-28. The defense allows 5.6 yards per carry rushing, 5.6 yards per carry rushing. That's 2 rushes, you got a first down. You can't win. You can't win like that. That's not even competing. Averaging 176 rushing yards per game, giving up 37.5 points per game, 9.5 yards per pass. This defense is bad. I mean, Russ is trying, Peyton's trying, they're trying, but the defense is really, really bad. They don't have a run game either, but this defense is really bad. Remember a few years back, this was the strength of the team?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're a long ways away from that.
It's
They
so
didn't.
crazy that they don't have a running game because Javante Williams, I believe that's his name, was coming.
Mm-hmm.
He was going off. I remember they had that two-headed monster in the backfield. And they were doing good. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what happened. I am honestly, you look at that roster, and then you're just like, I don't understand. Like you look at that offense,
Right.
and it's not like they're void of weapons. It's like they have a solid, well, on paper, they have a decent enough roster, but I just don't know.
Well, I
It's
mean, Javante Williams only had 2 carries this game. Samaj Paran had 6, and Jaleel McLaughlin had 7. Maybe it's just the coaching. Maybe they don't believe in him anymore.
I mean,
But
because we knew last year it was definitely the coaching, but
yeah.
for Sean Payton to say what he said this past season, and for us to deduce that it is the coaching this year. Maybe he's going to be saying like he was talking in the mirror because he was talking about himself. It's the coaching because you have a good team and you just let them become shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
coaching. It's
yeah.
coaching.
Coaching, it's upstairs. That's, yeah. Not owned by Walmart. Good Lord. Denver used to be a respectable franchise. Whatever. Number 29, another not so respectable franchise anymore. Vegas, Las Vegas Raiders. They lost to San Diego 24-17. Maybe if Jimmy G played, they could have won. San Diego's not great either. But they had Aiden O'Connell out there getting beat the hell up. So I guess like they kicked his ass out there. He's not a great quarterback. He's probably not even going to be in the league in a couple years. But hey, he can say he got to play in an NFL game.
Well,
So
I'll
props
say
to
this.
you, AOC.
This is what we expected, though. It's not like we're surprised that Vegas is bad. We're not surprised, and it's so funny because not too long before we got on here to do this video, I was watching a video right after the Chargers Raiders game. Mark Davis is getting heckled and yelled at by fans, and you'd think as a billionaire owner of a team, you just gonna let people talk their shit and not engage in it. No, he's right there engaging in it. And like,
He's
yeah,
not a
you can say
millionaire.
that's
His
the
dad was a millionaire. He's some little
it's like,
spoiled kid with a dumbass haircut, and it's like 60 years old.
yeah.
Like what the heck with that haircut? What is that haircut? You're a grown ass man.
Listen, I can understand it, but it's just like you could say it's a human factor, but it's just like maybe this guy is just not all there. I mean,
You can't look at himself.
well, honestly, he can't be there because he hired Josh McDaniels to be his head coach.
Yeah.
So
He also hired Gruden and Mayock. So
yeah,
incompetence is the order of the day in Vegas, I guess. That's just what happens. As long as it stays there, they're going to stay at the bottom of the rankings.
Well, they can stay there because I don't care.
I don't care. Yes. Number 28. The New York Giants. They lost 24-3 to the Seahawks. Danny Dimes needs to get on the phone with his attorneys because what happened to him could only be categorized as an assault. 10 sacks. How did your line fail you that badly, that poorly? Allow you to be sacked 10 times. I mean, it's possible Danny was holding on to the ball too long. But, I mean, he was sacked 10 times, he threw 2 interceptions, and he fumbled twice. He was the only real source of rushing yards that they had. The line's not good. I can't recall the last time they're good. When Eli was there, they had a good line.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have Saquon. They really need Saquon because this guy, you can't rely on this quarterback to win you games. You just can't. You just can't. He's not that guy. He needs Saquon. Frankly, y'all need a better quarterback. This guy seems like a backup to me.
Well, if we had an editor, I would say, hey, editor, put an asterisk 11 right here because it wasn't 10-6. It was 11.
Well,
it was
okay.
11. I mean,
let me correct my notes.
It was
Good
11.
Lord have mercy. No one deserves that.
But yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And I just want to piggyback off something I said earlier. I mean, well, before I get into that, there's definitely turmoil in that locker room because I was just telling you about the videos where Dable is trying to talk to Jones and Jones is just beelining right past him, not even acknowledging him. And Dable's trying to show him something on the clipboard or the tablet, and Jones is just not paying any attention, and Dable's throwing the tablet. There's turmoil. There is some issues with cohesion in that locker room, and
you know what they'll say? It's just stress. We are fired up. You know, we're too excited. Things happen. It doesn't mean anything. Well, shit, it don't.
Yeah, it means something.
And quarterback walking away from the head coach like that's a problem.
That is a problem, and I wouldn't tolerate it. But I just want to piggyback off something I said earlier. So, because we were talking about the 32nd team, which was Chicago, and the Giants, and I made a statement. I said, I'm pretty sure, even though the Bears are the worst team, they outscored the Giants this year. You didn't believe. You didn't want to believe me, but I'm gonna tell you something.
I did not.
Do you still believe me, or do you believe me now? Do you want to change your tone?
No, I do not. It doesn't make sense.
The Giants have scored 46 points this season.
God, that's all.
The Bears have scored 75.
Well, granted, I mean the Bears, have more effort, more to fight with, more weapons, as it were, than the Giants do. The Giants, who barely have a receiver, they're struggling at tight end. They're not using him enough. You got Danny Dimes at quarterback. At least Fields can really run. Dimes can run just enough to survive the play.
Do you think that either one of these teams will get it together?
No, I have no reason to think that. I mean, the Giants showed something last year, but obviously that was a fluke season because this is more what we've always expected out of Daniel Jones and that offense. So they just regressed to the mean, I suppose. They are what they were supposed to be last year. Chicago is what Chicago's always going to be. It's a terrible team, terrible organization. Some things never change. They ass. Disappointing. Number 27 for me is the Atlanta Cardinals. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals, who lost 30. Fucking different. I know, right? They lost 35-16 to San Francisco. You know, everybody's going to lose to San Francisco for the most part. The defense, the Cardinals' defense allowed 69.6% completion of their passes. And by every metric of, recruiting defense or quantifying defensive stats, they're terrible. Like, they're one of the worst teams in every category. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I feel like the Cardinals they're like Chicago. They're just out there, we're going to sound like, pick me, Caleb, pick me. Because that's their only hope is not this season, but the future. That's really what they need to start preparing for, because even trying to pretend to be committed to competing on the field, no, you're just setting your fans up to be disappointed. You're setting your players up to be hurt, like get injured, lose confidence, all that good stuff. At best, you should do what you're doing. Go look at all these rookies, these younger players, see if you can find some talent off the street. Try to find some hope for next season and build for that team. Any pieces you can. Try out your younger talents. Just see what you got there. Try to trade off some of these veterans. Move on. Prepare for the future. You failed. You failed at what you've been trying to do here. Start over. What you think?
It's like for the defense to be as bad as they are, and then they went out and hired a defensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a match made in heaven. They got what they deserved. This is what they deserved. You hired a coach that bummed it, that sucked it. Listen, it's karma, basically. You were tampering, and your tampering potentially distracted Gannon. I mean, he was already mediocre, but he
wasn't good to begin with.
Yeah.
They distracted him fired the year before.
Right. Like, you distracted him enough. I mean, you got him to the point where he was distracted enough not to make good calls in the Super Bowl, which essentially lost the Super Bowl for Philadelphia, and basically screwed Philadelphia out of signing a solid defensive coordinator and
Big Fangio call.
But yeah, he's garbage. And then I don't know what these teams these teams that are horrible, like what are they competing for? What are they competing to be the worst for? Because they might think Shador. But here's the thing. Word on the streets is that Shador and Caleb, one of it doesn't matter if Shador is probably going to go back because he doesn't want to be number 2 to Caleb Williams. We already know that Caleb Williams is going to be number 1. But Caleb Williams is like, I'm going to go back because I don't want to play for any of these teams.
I think they both should. I think they would be well within reason to not come out this year. Let Drake May go first to the Bears. Let his career go off the rails. Don't do that to yourselves. They got too much talent to waste in Chicago. Be the next man up in a disaster of a minefield. No. They should go back next year. I mean, granted, the same teams will be sitting right there in 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
But at least they tried. At least they gave it the go college try. But
I respect him doing that because it's like he doesn't want to end up in the same position these other guys are in. Like Arizona, clearly is not a good destination for a young quarterback.
No, it is not.
Chicago is not a good destination for a young quarterback.
No, it is not.
Not Carolina, even though Frank Reich is supposed to be the QB whisperer.
A lot of people are supposed to be that.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking of teams that'll probably be picking around the top 5. a lot of these teams you'll see in the top 5 are not places you want to send. Like the potential that Tennessee might be there. Not somewhere
Patriots.
you want to. Yeah, it's not somewhere you want to send young quarterbacks.
Right.
So yeah, I think Shador and Caleb would do themselves some good by staying back and finishing that last year because I'll
Absolutely.
tell you this, I wouldn't be coming out. I
Right.
wouldn't be declaring for anything.
Right. Like you got to assume your career already ended because they're not going to give you anything to work
Mm-hmm.
with. They're not going to give you. They're not going to help you improve. They're not going to do any of that. So your career is
And
over the moment you get there.
yep. And any team that's talking about trading up to get that first round pick or that first overall pick,
Right.
I don't want to play there. I don't want to play there because they don't have any weapons no more. They don't have the resources to get you anything.
Right.
They just better be great already.
Somebody went out for your trade. Let them. You're number one. Let them.
All right. You can go on. I think I dragged your picks a little bit too much.
No, that's all good. If they need to be dragged, drag them. All right. Number 26. We have a New York team, the Jets. They put up a fight. Zach Wilson had the game of his life. I mean, Sauce got flagged, and then Wilson fumbled, and that was that. Okay, I mean, they lost. That's what they do. Jets always find ways to lose. I saw a thing on Facebook the other day that summed it up perfectly. JETS, just enjoy the suffering. That's what it is. If you're a
That's
Jets fan,
funny.
that's the story of your life.
That's actually funny.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, we're gonna look very promising. We're gonna get you excited just so we can let you down. It's like you getting that you find this. It's like you've been single for a while. You probably find somebody that's like, oh man, I like this person, and they completely
You got Big
that
Baby?
shit. Probably
Mm-hmm. Wow.
she got a little. It's like that girl that finds that guy that got a lot of money, and then she finds out how he got that money. It's because he's been stealing money and credit card fraud and stuff, and now he's
Oh,
wanted by the FBI.
I was hoping
So
it
that's
was a diamond mine or something. Child labor
listen.
camp, blood
It could
diamonds, all
be
that good stuff.
any of those. It's like the Jets are basically that person that you get excited for, and now you find out that they're wanted by Interpol. The Jets are just bad.
They are bad.
And
They're a joke.
and it's like I was excited for him this year. I actually was excited for him. I wanted because it's like you see those teams that were bad the previous year. You just want to say like those teams aren't going to be at the bottom. We're going to see a new group of teams drafted in the bottom, and it's not. We're not seeing anything different.
Right. You'll see Chicago and you'll see Detroit down there most every year at the bottom.
Yep.
I say Detroit. I meant to
not
say it. I didn't mean to say
Yeah.
Detroit. Chicago, New York. That's what I meant to say. The Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Detroit.
I think Detroit might be a team.
Yeah. Seems like they might have outlived their curse. They're looking good.
You've been saying that all year, though. You've been saying that you've been speaking that praises. So
Yeah. Got to root for the losers, just not the Jets. With the Jets, you just enjoy the suffering.
Just enjoy the sucking.
Yeah.
Be a Khalifa.
Number 25. The Patriots. They lost 38-3 to Dallas. There really isn't even much I need to say about the Patriots. We know they're bad. We beat the shit out of Belichick every week. He's not really welcome at the bench unless he wants to challenge what we say. But he can't because he can't cheat at this. That said, that offense is a mess. It's time for a hard reset from the top to the bottom.
Top to the bottom.
Throw them all away and start over. Hell, even move if you want to. Maybe get out a weak-ass Foxborough and move to racist-ass Boston. That wouldn't hurt you. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, though. Point is, Belichick got to go. Coordinator's got to go. Belichick as GM especially needs to go because it's the GM Belichick's fault that this team is so bad.
Keep Jared Mayo. He's probably the best coach on that team.
No, either move on from Jared Mayo because she's not the guy who deserves. He doesn't deserve to have to clean this mess up. No, let him go somewhere else and shine.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Give it to McDaniels.
Damn, you just like don't want to see them develop. They just not. It's just like,
why would I? Why would I? There was no. I mean, I've sat here for the last 20, 22, 23 years listening to people on TV tell me how much of a god Belichick was, how great Brady was. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all the false hype. Belichick like he is a deity. It's bullshit. The man's a fucking moron. That's why he doesn't give good conferences, because he's fucking stupid. He doesn't have the words. You're going to use football cliches and all that good stuff. No. The man's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot as a coach. That's why his team's actually getting worse as time is passing on. They're not getting better, even though he bags the groceries and he cooks the meals. But he can't make this not taste like fucking eggs. The man needs to go. If he's buying groceries, if he's making a recipe, if he's cooking the food, and all of it tastes like shit, you need to be chef. Get him the fuck out of there. Get him all the fuck out of there. Wipe the slate clean. Spray it again. Then wipe it clean. Then spray it again to get all the residue out. All the benefits stick. All the gate. Just move that. It's over. Mac Jones is not a pro quarterback. At best, he's a backup. At best, he's a backup. They can't draft. They can't develop. Mayo might be a decent coach. I can't tell. I can't tell he's good. He's coaching this defense when he's doing up 38 points. No, I can't tell that he's good. It's time to move on. Blow the whole fucking thing up.
So what happens to me once they blow it up?
Oh, fuck.
I'm screwed. I've got 6 Super Bowls. I've won since 6 Super Bowls leading this team.
Well, fuck him and his damn kids. His non-coaching ass kids. Fuck that whole damn family. Fuck his mama. Fuck his dog.
I don't think you got.
Fuck his dog.
I don't think you understood. I was channeling my inner Belichick.
Yeah.
With the hoodle.
Well, 2 people up the pooper. Fuck your dog.
Oh, God.
Fuck your draft picks.
I don't even know what my dog is.
Moving on.
Fuck the Patriots.
Just like your dog. Moving on.
Fuck this. Fuck the Patriots.
Number 24. Minnesota Vikings. They actually won. I think it's the first team that won a game so far on my list. But they beat Carolina, so what's that one? That was their first win of the season. Really, Cousins tried to throw it away. The defense won the game. Yeah, they got Jefferson. Cousins can't compete, but there's nothing else, really. There's nothing else on that side of the ball. They can't run it. They can't clock control. They can probably dig it down. Well, yeah, it's not a very strong offense. They need more weapons. They need to be looking at the trade market if they really expect to compete this season. Personally, if I was looking at the trade market and I needed more weapons, I'd be looking at Jerry Jeudy. But that's just me. I'm sure for the right price, he's available right now,
though. I mean, I'll say this. Judging from the way the Bengals have been playing, Jamar Chase might be looking for it now.
If not him, then definitely T. Higgins. I mean, Boyd's got, 1 year left? So he's probably gettable.
Listen, these teams, Minnesota Minnesota's actually shocking me because this is not what I expected from Minnesota. But what it looks like, it's Dalvin Cook not being there. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I mean, for the most part, he was hurt so much, they should have been prepared for this. As often as he was injured, they should have been prepared. They should have had a stronger backup than Madison this whole time because like we were over promoting Madison. He was not really having great games in Ball's absence. So, but we kept putting him up there like he was doing something when he was not. He just wasn't. The yards per carry were fine, but they weren't great. They weren't Dalvin Cook's. So, I mean, if you're not getting at least close to the same, then it's clearly a downgrade to go from Cook to Madison.
Well, it was definitely a downgrade.
So,
and
it was a bad move.
And like I look at Madison and I look at Dalvin Cook. They're two different types of running backs. Dalvin Cook is your guy. He's going to make people miss in the open field. He's somebody that you can utilize outside of the backfield by throwing the ball to him. And then you look at Madison. He's not that. No. Madison is a short yardage back. He's a power back. He's well over 220 pounds.
Right, you need more than that.
He's a large back. He's the guy who's gonna boom, 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 boom. But you can't depend on that 100%. You need that guy that can make people miss. You need that guy who's gonna be explosive. And Madison is not explosive.
Right.
He's not fast. He's not explosive. So and especially if you wanna run a offense that's like because like O'Donnell came from the Sean McVay system, so that means they're gonna try to throw the ball. You can't throw the ball. Your running game is garbage, and you can't throw. Like you need a dynamic running back, and it's not happening. So,
all right. Side note: how many rings has that Sean McVay tree won? One? Did you count Sean McVay?
Just one.
Yeah. Everybody wanted a young Sean McVay type. And none of them, it was a waste. You put people up because they reminded you of somebody else, or they worked with somebody else. Like, that's stupid. That's just illogical. That's all.
The only good thing that came out of the Sean McVay tree, if you want to call it the Sean McVay tree, is the fact that younger coaches are getting a shot. That's the only good thing that came out of Sean McVay. That's it.
But it didn't work. Like, pretty much all them coaches already lost their jobs. The was going through all sorts of crap, and Fraser was going through all sorts of crap, and like.
Well, I mean, like the younger coaches, like guys who are like 38, because I remember back in the days when I first started watching football, you never saw.
Yeah, there was a reason for that. You needed people that can handle grown men.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You didn't need fanboys walking the sidelines calling in plays that they don't even fully grasp because they didn't go out in the field and run those plays themselves. And, they don't know the things that the players know. The little things that fall in between plays and how to shoot a little on a play. Like they don't know these things. So how are you going to get development and upgrade from somebody who doesn't know those things? So you got a flashy playbook. What are you going to do? What are you going to do for this today? What are you going to do? You're going to get blown the fuck out. Some of these young people give me somebody that's actually fought a fucking battle or three. Who's actually competed, who's actually been in the playoffs, who's actually sniffed success, who isn't just here because his friend was a decent coach. Anyway, number 23, Atlanta Falcons. They got beat by Jacksonville in London. The Toy Story game.
The only good thing about this game was that I got to see something different.
Even
though I feel like the NFL and Disney, y'all need to work together to make this happen again. Even though it was very glitchy, it's like there was its problems, of course.
I liked it.
Something like that. I liked it. It was interesting, and my kids were into it. And it's very hard to get my kids to watch something like that. My kids.
I've never even seen Toy Story, but I liked it.
Oh shit!
I ain't never seen none of those.
But I think what's going to happen is I don't think it's going to be a Toy Story The next one, I don't think the next one's gonna be Toy Story. I think the next one's gonna be a different. You
Ratatouille,
gotta
Ratatouille,
incorporate.
Ratatouille. Do it in the
You gotta
kitchen.
incorporate different TV shows. You might
Do this
even
shit in
see
the kitchen.
Cars. Oh man, it'll be interesting. I want to see. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see. But I think they need to do more of these kid friendly games. It's more that. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not really a fan of the Nickelodeon stuff that they be doing. The slime, that's kind of boring to me. It's
Yeah.
just not exciting.
We've been getting slime
But
since 1990.
but seeing the toys and seeing the animated version of this, like if you could it'd be awesome if you could see it, make it go claymation. That would be awesome. That would be
Uh,
cool.
yeah, that would be cool. I wouldn't be watching. Claymation just
Like
weirds me out.
remember or like the toys. Remember that show that used to come on Nickelodeon and they had like the toys and they were like crime fighters. The toys just didn't match. One toy that was way too big. It doesn't matter.
You
It
mostly
was
lose me
just
at Nickelodeon.
yeah. Anyway, that was the only good thing that came out of that game was the fact that you got to see something new. Um, a lot of people are giving up on Desmond Ritter. I'm not ready to give up on Desmond Ritter. There's no point. Your team's ass. If
Right,
your
you're
team is
stuck with him at
ass,
least
then
for the rest of the season.
yeah, deal with it. Deal with it. Don't bench him for Tyler Heineke because you're not chasing a playoff berth. It's not something you guys are gonna get. You need to
Highest
figure
paid
out your
backup in the
offense.
league.
Yeah, like you need to figure out your offense first.
No.
Figure out
Figure
your
out who
offense
you
first
are offensively, what your identity is.
exactly, because if you're not using Kyle Pitts if you're not using Kyle Pitts right, there's no way Tyler Heineke's going to come in and do that for you. That's not
Right,
what he does. He's
right,
not going to come in there and suddenly get Kyle Pitts involved if your offense is not scheming to get him involved.
right.
So I think
Doesn't
let
even
Desmond
seem like
Ritter
they're
cook.
scheming the playbook to adjust for Ritter's skill set. It doesn't even seem like
Oh
that's
no,
really happening.
because I
Or
don't
for
think
that
that's
matter,
I don't
Drake
think
London, or for that matter, Pitts. It doesn't seem like they're
yeah
really adjusting to the talent that they have. Which if they did
because
that
Arthur
with the
Smith is
young
still.
talent that they have, they'd be a lot better team.
And I think what it is because Arthur Smith still think he's in Tennessee. He still
Yeah.
think he has Derrick Henry. He just has to focus on a run game,
Well,
which I
Behan
would
is
say is a
probably
good idea.
better than Henry
Oh yeah, but
already.
what my thing is, I feel like he probably could actually focus on the run if he actually focused on the run. He's just not giving those running backs the carries.
Yeah, I
Tell
mean,
y'all,
yeah.
tell it's
That
just like
that all they should be that should be carrying the team. Because they can't figure out what the hell Ritter's good at, and they can't figure out how to get London and Pitts the ball. They should be using out that backfield, running that
yeah,
ball 4 or 5 yards per. They should be grinding it out. That's what they need to do until their quarterback figures it the fuck out.
yes, but yeah, Atlanta. Arthur Smith hit the bench. Atlanta, you're fine. I'm not ready to give up on Atlanta, but you're not going to the playoffs this year.
He's not far away
I'm
from
not
me
ready.
giving up on him this season.
I'm
But
I gave up on their playoff hopes, but I'm not giving up on Desmond Ritter. I feel like he still has something there.
well, that's really sweet.
I mean, I still think he's the best quarterback on that roster. I'm not going to sit here and admit that Tyler Heineke is a good quarterback.
No, that would be silly because he's
Yeah,
not. You'd
he's
be a
not better
liar.
than Desmond Ritter.
You'd be lying on the bench.
Because, and this is my thing, it's like if Tyler Heineke was any good of a quarterback, then he would have been starting all those years in Washington
Mm-hmm.
instead of being that backup that came in as like from time to time. That's
Right.
who he's just a backup.
He's a
Not a good
backup.
quarterback.
Some quarterbacks are just backups. They're not meant to be out there for 17 games. They're meant to be out there for 2 or 3 at the most. Then they get discovered. They get the film on them. They get found out, basically. So, no, you can only use them backups so much. If you got to rely on them for the season, most of the time your season's over already. Now, you're talking about, disappointing quarterbacks. This guy should be up near the top. Actually, these next two should be up near the top. My number 22 team
Cleveland.
is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh.
I say that I'm not putting it all on Bell, but 3 offensive touchdowns in 4 games. That's bad. That's as bad as you can possibly get. That's 3 in 4 games. So, yeah. I don't know if that's
I'm putting it
preparation, if
all.
that's on field, but somebody's fucking up.
I'm
Not
putting it
to
all on Joe.
mention, who made you said something left? 12 missed tackles in that game for the Bengals defense. How are we in week 4 of the season and you got 12 missed tackles? How have you not figured that part out? You're at the pro level. I don't even remember saying how you can't tackle at the pro level to begin with. Like, you should have had that mastered by now. But, I mean, Derrick Henry just busted them up, and they don't score. If they're not stopping the run, and they're not scoring, they're not going to win many games at all. And that's a race, because you got Burrow, you got Chase, you got, just for talking about them, T. Higgins. Yeah, like, there's pieces there. They should not be walking out of a game at the end with 3 points. They just shouldn't. This offense is too strong for that to be the case.
I mean, I'm not going to put it all on Burrow, although I could, because he has weapons.
Weapons, plural, like strong weapons.
And he's supposed to be Joe Shiesty the way he was talked up when they made that run to the Super Bowl. He's
right.
Joe Shiesty. You got a name like Joe Shiesty.
It was ready to make him face of the league.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could put it all on you because once you get like this, because I'm pretty sure if this is Mahomes performing like that, y'all not gonna blame Andy Reid. Y'all gonna just put it on Mahomes. Y'all gonna put it on it's Mahomes.
Right.
It's Mahomes' fault. Y'all gonna put it on Mahomes. So put it on Joe. But again, I think I won't put it all on him because I feel like Zach Taylor has been fucking up for a long time now, just as bad as Brandon Staley has been. And, I feel like it's run its course, and I feel like the reason why we're talking about them this low in the rankings is because they're bad. They're not good, and it's like I think we're now exposing Joe Burrow for who he is. It's like
you do seem pretty exposed.
He's exposed. So that's what I think of Joe Burrow. They are who we thought they were. The Bengals. I mean, yeah.
They're not who I thought they were. They're way more disappointing this season. I thought they were going to compete at least for a divisional title. No. They might be competing for a top 5 pick by the end, the way they're playing. This is bad. This is real bad.
Put the Bengals back where they belong, in the top pick.
Okay, well, that means my number 21 is not where they belong. And that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a bad game. They lost 30-6 to Houston, to the Texans, led by that rookie quarterback. That rookie quarterback. What's that guy's name? What's his name? Come on, the wide receiver. We do a thing for him every week.
Oh, Nico
Collins. Yeah, Nico Collins had a hell of a game against this week against the Steelers. Steelers gave up 300 to a rookie quarterback, and they lost their own quarterback for the game and possibly longer. Is this Mike Tomlin's worst team?
I think this is, in fact, Tomlin's worst team. And I feel like this might be that point in his career where Tomlin has to take a step back and maybe step down because you're not getting somebody has to be fired, and I don't feel like they're going to do the right people are going to be held accountable.
Right.
And you got to put it all on the quarterback. You got to put it all on the coach.
Yeah, I mean, you scored 6 points against the Houston, the team that had the number 3 pick last year. Then they trade out, and they were definitely one of the worst teams the past few years. Past 3 or 4 years, actually, they've been one of the worst teams. and you lost 30-6 to this team. And you're supposed to be a strong team. You have a strong defense, Minkah Fitzpatrick and T.J. Watt. You got a strong offense. You got Najee. You got Pickett, who's supposed to be ascending, but it's clearly going backwards. What do you make of this team? Like you just said, Tomlin may need to step back. You mean he should step down? Should he get out the way for somebody else? I was talking to you. Well, damn, boy, it's up and left. I ain't even looking at the screen. Whatever. All right. Well, Steelers are bad. They got beat by a team that should be significantly worse than they are. But whatever. I'm moving on to number 20, the Indianapolis Colts. They lost 29-23 to the Rams. They fell behind 23-0. Hey, they tried. They fought back. They fought hard. They did the best they could with what they had. Problem was the secondary forgot to cover Chipuka and Nakua. The secondary was terrible all game. Receivers were getting open all game against the Colts defense. But when it mattered the most, they forgot to cover Puka, and Puka got open for a touchdown. So, the Colts, they're still trying to figure it out. We're not supposed to expect much from them this season. I don't see them falling or rising too much higher in my numbers. Yeah, they're about where they should be. The whole goal for this season is that Anthony Richardson figures it out. He just keeps improving. Otherwise, this season's a wash. So
I agree. I feel like so when the Colts are doing well, like when we see those bouts of like good skills and like they're performing well, we see potential. Like what we're seeing is potential because right now we have no expectation of the Colts. We didn't expect them to come in and dominate with Anthony Richardson. I think the only person that thought that they were going all the way was Jonathan Taylor. But other than that, Anthony Richardson this year, and I think this is for all the rookie quarterbacks that are starting. We got to get out of the expectation of thinking to these teams going anywhere. The expectation is for them to take the time. You're going to lose. You're on these teams. You're on teams that have been losing. That's why they were able to select you.
Bad rosters.
So at this point, it's for you to just try to develop yourself. Do what you got to do to become better.
Learn how to be a pro.
Because I think at the Colts, this is for the first time in a while, the Colts have actually had a quarterback that can actually win with them. So I think it's just let him develop for a little while. And I feel like Shane Steichen is probably one of the best coaches. He's probably, I want to say, the best new head coach to be hired this year.
Yeah, maybe. He's getting something out of that team, so that counts.
Out of all the head coaches, I'm not going to completely just kick DeMeco Ryans.
I was say that's where I'd lean when it came to that.
But it's just like DeMeco Ryans is a defensive coach, and I don't expect him to get much out of an offense. But I feel like as a team, I feel like DeMeco Ryans might have a better handle on what he's got. And if that defense is performing, DeMeco Ryans, that's his playing. So but my thing is, C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson are definitely quarterbacks that deserve to be drafted where they are. And I expect great things from them in the next few years.
I agree.
As far as the younger quarterbacks that are under 25, besides Jalen Hurts, I think he's not under 25 anymore. But those guys that are drafted in the past 2 years,
right?
I feel like we're not going to see much from them for if anything. I'm not expecting much from Justin Fields. I'm not expecting anything from Zach Wilson. Same person.
Right,
don't expect much. We're not going to see Malik Willis do much. We're not going to see much from Kenny Pickett. He's proven that he's not grasping the offense that he needs to. He's just not grasping it for
Right.
some reason. So I like I like the Colts. I know they're not going to win too much, and I'm not expecting them to, but they've got a team that they can build around and keep bringing weapons. And as long as they continue to do that, they'll develop. But it's not I'm not expecting them to do it this year.
Right. Agreed. Excuse me, but I had to go out. I don't care.
That sounded like
Like and subscribe.
yes, that's exactly what
19.
that meant.
Number 19, the Tennessee Titans. They got a win over Tennessee 27-3. As I said earlier, Derrick Henry ran all over him. Was it Derrick Henry shining, or was it just a bad opponent?
The Bengals just sucked.
Okay.
It wasn't because Derrick Henry, like when you have a running back throw a touchdown pass, that doesn't mean that the running back's good. That just means you're that bad because you
Mm-hmm.
allowed a running back to throw a touchdown pass. It's like when they did Philly. The reason why Philly was successful, not because whoever that was that threw the ball was just that damn good at throwing the ball, and not because Nick Foles was just that damn good of a receiver. It's because the Patriots sucked at that on that play, and
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati sucked that whole game. And when you got a guy like Derrick Henry, who's a power back, who's a bruiser back, for you to allow someone who's been doing that for so long, just putting their body right in the middle of the guts, he shouldn't be able to produce like that at this age. So for them
Right,
to
you would
allow him,
think. Right. All right. Next up, number 18, also won this week. Shocking the world. The Houston Texans. CJ Stroud had his first 300-yard game. That's pretty good. Probably one thing I will say is they get to the quarterback, but they don't get to the quarterback. Like they'll get in service, they'll get hands up, but they will not bring them down. But this defense, good Lord, this defense is going to be good. D'Amico knows what he's doing with the defense. What goes with the offense isn't fully in his control because he's got a guy for that. Yeah, they beat the crap out of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh looks terrible, but Houston looks like a team that's going to fight till the end. They're going to sneak up on a lot of people if they're not paying attention. So don't get caught lunching when you're facing Houston. All right, next up, we got a little delay. GQ's off in the ether. Something's wrong with his computer. He's messaging me. He'll be back. So, with that said, we're moving on to New Orleans and the Saints, who I have at my number 17. They took an L to Tampa Bay. It was not a good one. This team's on a downswing, because the defense past few games has been falling apart, and the offense hasn't been holding their own all season. I mean, let's be real. They've scored 5 offensive touchdowns this season, and one of them was a kick return. That is not a recipe for winning, especially when your defense is going backwards, getting worse as it progresses. I'll leave this one like this. They miss Sean Payton, but Sean Payton sucks. And Sean Payton sucks because Kevin James sucks. And because Sean Payton left, this new Saint team sucks. And the only hope they have left is whatever Sean Hill has left to play running back, quarterback, and tight end all in one game. GQ says his computer is going to give him an aneurysm. I say, if it does, I want his radio. All right, now I'm on to number 16. Since it's all me, this is now the GQ show. The Boulevard show. I don't even know my own name. Next up, we're going to Washington and the Commanders at number 16. The Commanders lost in overtime to Philly, 34-31. Now, Washington has a really bad pass defense. They've allowed 11 plays this season, 11 passes over 25 yards. And main culprit among that whole secondary is Emmanuel Forbes, the rookie. This game, rookie Emmanuel Forbes allowed 9 catches for 197 yards. That's some terrible fucking coverage skills. As in, there are no coverage skills there. How do you get stopped out like that? I know you're a rookie, but come on. You got to think they had to teach you better than that by this point. It's week 4. You got to know better than just get destroyed like that. You don't belong on the field giving up 200 yards. So, of course, A.J. Brown busted his ass because that's what A.J. Brown does to rookies. But we're not talking about that team yet. We're talking about the Commanders and how Emmanuel Forbes should probably hit the bench, and they've got to figure out a way to improve that defense, the back end of that defense, because you can't be allowing games like that and expect to be competing even as well as you did against this Philly team who's still figuring it out themselves. It was a bad game. You need to do something about that corner, though, Commanders. You need to do something about a lot of things in your organization, but the first thing and probably the easiest thing you can do is fix Emmanuel Forbes. So focus on that. You back, GQ?
I am back. Fortunately, my computer is like, I think it's aging out, so I think it's about time we do some upgrading.
Yeah.
But yeah, but as far as the Commanders, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that needs to be done in that organization. Emmanuel Forbes, I mean, I think we got to give Emmanuel Forbes a bit of a break here. He was guarding AJ Brown. That's not an easy matchup, especially for a rookie. I think he shouldn't have been the one guarding him. You got a guy like Kendall Fuller who's been doing this a lot longer. He should have been the one guarding AJ Brown. He's not. Emmanuel Forbes isn't even he's probably there's no reason.
It's because Forbes is bigger. That's why he was on him. That's the only logical reason I can think of. It's because Forbes is a bigger corner. It's one of these more modern physical corners that they would think could have the strength and the size to keep up with Brown. But Brown is Brown. And what can Brown do for you? He will bust your ass. So that's what happened.
They deliver. He delivered.
Exactly.
And the problem is, it's like, yeah, I could get where you say, like, he's probably a bigger corner, so he could probably hang with Brown a little bit. But here's the problem: if he doesn't, now his confidence is gone, his mentality is trash. That's gonna eat up with him, and it's gonna eat up at him next week. It's gonna take something for him to get back to whoever he was before then. He's gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle for quite a while now. But yeah, the organization has a whole lot to deal with, and especially they got to figure out what they're going to do with Chase Young. Are you going to re-sign them? Are you going to re-sign any of those corners? Because the way you're looking at it, you decline both these guys' fifth-year options. You decline Sweat's option.
That's foolish. Like
option. So it's like, and me personally, I'm a firm believer. If we got a fifth-year option, I'm taking it.
Right. Take that money deal. Take that cheap deal. Because you're going to have if you franchise them, you're paying way more. If you re-sign them, you're paying way more. So take that fifth-year option regardless. Unless you know for certain you don't want them in your locker room, you take that fifth-year option. Like, what the hell? That's just logic.
Because in my opinion, Chase Young is not somebody you want to risk going to another team, and then you have to end up playing him.
Because you know he ain't leaving the conference. He ain't leaving the division.
Nope. He'll probably end up in either Philadelphia or Dallas to get him.
He's not leaving the division, so y'all better not let him go. I wouldn't let him go anyway. I mean, he's injury prone, but he's very effective when he plays.
Yes.
Not like Emmanuel Forbes.
So, yeah. Washington could win, so I'm not understanding. I mean, it's not like we were expecting Washington to win that game. I mean, some people did. Some people expected Washington to beat Philadelphia.
I expected exactly what happened. Washington hung around to the end. That's what I expected. I didn't expect an overtime classic, but I expected Washington to hold their own, to not just get rolled over, because that's not what that's not their style. They want to beat your ass. They're not going to let you just beat their ass.
Mm-hmm.
They fight in the trenches the same way the Eagles do.
Yeah.
That's why I mean it would be a good matchup. The Washington's still a work in progress. Just they need a lot more work than Philly does.
Yes.
Number 15, speaking of overtime classics, the St. Louis Rams. They beat the Colts 29-23 in overtime. They're probably not a playoff team. For one thing, they don't force turnovers. Like, they don't get turnovers on defense at all. I think they had 2 this season. Yeah. But I feel like this is the team that plays hard every game and will fuck your season up if you're caught lynching. Like other teams on this list. But, you go in there expecting to just roll them over. No. They're gonna just stomp you. They're gonna keep beating you up. Expect you to swing back. If you can't swing back, you're gonna lose. Houston's a fighter. They're kind of that. They're that team that will fuck your whole season up.
I don't think I have a disagreement there.
Weapons all the weapons you need. They got a strong ass receiver. They got a strong ass D lineman. But I don't really know much about the back end of their defense or whatever. I know Akers wasn't the guy. That's why they got rid of him. But they're still out there. They're still a threat every week. I'd say that's the coaching, honestly.
Yeah, I have a question for you. This might be a good one. So, considering that Puka Nacua has been doing what he's been doing, when Cooper Kupp is healthy, what changes? Do you change what you're doing?
No, you just adjust. Because you should already know what Cooper Kupp does well. You can find ways to get both of them the ball because neither one of them needs 15 receptions a game. Like, that's becoming too reliant. And the defense can adjust easier to that as opposed to spreading the ball around. Or even making 2 receivers the priority. Say Cooper and Nacua. You can adjust your strategy defensively, but they're still going to get theirs because you can't shut down both of them. And if you make an effort to shut down both of them, there's always another option. So this will be a team that will ruin your chances this season. Watch out for the Rams. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to see them on your schedule come week 14.
Take you out of the playoff.
They damn sure could. That's that kind of team. We didn't even mention Aaron Donald. That says anything.
I'm so confused about Aaron Donald. He's such a great, he's a great D lineman, but question about where has he played? It's not his ability at all. That's not the question. My question is, what position does he play?
D-line. He's a D-lineman. That's his position. He slides up and down the line. Wherever he's needed, he's there. He plays the Jake from State Farm.
I get it.
No, because I don't. Hey, you want to go number 14? Got anything else?
I have nothing. St. Louis Rams.
All right. Number 14 is the Green Bay Packers. They took out in Detroit. They're soft. Because they're soft. Montgomery ran 32 for something like 3.8 carry. I can't remember the exact number. He held him under 4 for Kelly, but he still got 100 and some odd, 120, 100 something well over 100. The thing that got me is Aaron Jones was there. He was healthy. He was there, active, but he didn't play. But in this game, you needed them. You needed all hands on deck. You needed all your weapons. You couldn't just let the man take a week off. He just came back. You needed him out there. Your offense has been struggling the last couple of weeks. But you screwed up. They're looking real soft out there. They're looking real mushy. Like they just got rolled over by Detroit. It's Detroit, but still, it's your divisional rival. You can't just let your divisional rival run you over. especially you, Green Bay. Don't you own this team? Ain't that what they said? I own you?
He's their daddy.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Daddy got spanked by son. Weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised Green Bay is as high as they are, but I mean, I guess the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. I told you my flow formula.
I need more time with Green Bay to try to figure out who they are. Because I just don't know.
So do they. So do they. Because they don't know either. We can't figure out if Jordan Love's any good. There were 4 games in it. We still can't figure it out. Still haven't figured out if their offense is even good. I mean, Romeo Dobbs. Yeah. But at least supposed to believe that these running backs are solid. I haven't seen it really yet. I haven't seen much out of Jordan Love since week 1 to be impressed. So, I don't know. I don't know what to make of these Packers. That's why they're just about in the middle. They could go either way. It's up to them. Sitting right in the middle, 2-2. Pretty sure that whole division's 2-2 outside the Bears.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Number 13, San Diego Chargers. They 2-2. They beat Vegas 24-17. Raiders went out there with a rookie quarterback, and the rookie quarterback got introduced to Mr. Six Sack Khalil Mack. Woo! 6 sacks for that boy. But you thought he was cooked. You thought that man was cooked. That man just unloaded everything he had. 6 sacks in 1 game. So like 5 people done that in history. Crazy. I mean, not that it's all of him. The Raiders went out there with a rookie quarterback that nobody even heard of. That man, his own teammates, they didn't know. They didn't know who he was. They didn't know what he could do. The answer was not much. That's why he got beat up the way he did. Like, they beat his ass, and he deserved it for thinking he was a qualifiable NFL quarterback. The Chargers, however, are a disappointment because that offense is lost. Like, it doesn't really seem to have any direction. They've lost one of the receivers. You know, the running backs, Eckler's always injured or coming back from injury. I mean, they've had, what's his name, Josh Kelly running the ball most of the season, carrying the load. There's something wrong. There's just something wrong with that team. Every year they underachieve, but every year we put them back up and expect more because of the talent that surrounds the team, offensively and defensively. And they still manage to disappoint us every year. I don't understand it.
I understand it. His name is Brandon Staley.
I can agree with that. He does seem to be like, yeah, if you're going to point the finger, it would be there. Go on.
I'm just not a fan of Brandon Staley. He's just a bonehead. It's just like, you know, when somebody continuously just makes stupid mistakes and you're just looking at them like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes.
And that is how I see Brandon Staley. Whenever Brandon Staley is standing on the sideline or whenever there's a decision that has to come out, you're just looking at him like, it's like you're like picking a rock, like do something. Like you tell every, like you get all your friends over, like, hey guys, so excited about this new game I got, and then you forget to download the game, so your friends are just like watching you download the game, waiting for something to happen.
Well, that would be a clown move.
You remember when Grand Theft Auto first came out on the next gen, and you had to download all 7 discs or whatever. And
yes. Good Lord.
Almost like 2 days
yeah.
to download it. That's what it's like with Brandon Staley as a Holy Coach. You're just waiting for him.
He's a slow processor.
That's not the
He needs to update his RAM.
Because Brandon Staley is just like, do something, dude. Do something. Because I'm giving up on you. I'm giving up on him.
Because I hope the team does.
Yeah, because I thought Justin Herbert was a better quarterback than this, but now I don't know. And it's a forlorn that Chargers just falls to the Chargers.
Well, hey, they're 3-2-2. They're sitting nice at number 13 on our list. A win is a win, and you can only beat the team in front of you, with the players they have and all of that. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're coming out even so far, first quarter of the season. Who knows? Who knows with them? Same with this squad. Who the hell knows? This next team, my number 12 team, is Jacksonville Jaguars. They beat Atlanta in London 23-7. And let's be real. The reason they won that game is because they were in London. That's their home field.
Yeah.
Way more than Jacksonville. London is Jacksonville, the Jaguars' home field. If we could put a team there, it would be the Jaguars. I could get into all the considering a lack of for the Jacksonville team and all the blackouts in Florida for the Jacksonville team. But no, just they have a much stronger fan base after playing 10 games in London over the past few years. They have a strong fan base that is developed overseas.
Well, absolutely, and you know, next week, this weekend, they're playing again in London. Jacksonville is hosting another game in London. That is their home field.
That is their home field, yeah. It's every year because like they make more money going to London than they ever would selling like having that game in Jacksonville. Well, you're going to get like 40% capacity in Jacksonville, and all going to be drunk and not even watching the game. They're going to be rustling gators and smoking meth because it's Jacksonville. What?
Have you heard the story? Well, the fans are turning on the team essentially in Jacksonville. Like Jacksonville wanted to get in the stadium, but the city isn't willing.
Of course not. It's not a swamp.
Yeah, they don't want any part of it.
Good.
Basically, they're saying that the reason they don't want any part of it because you just keep taking, like you're taking games away from those Jacksonville home fans and taking those games. Like, what is it, 2-3 games? You're taking those games away from fans at home to go to London.
But they're not going to the games. That's why it's like a no-brainer for Shad Khan and them to go because they're not getting support at home. Because for whatever reason, I don't know. Jacksonville's just a goopy-ass place from what I understand.
Well, I think the reason why they don't get fans at home is because, like I've been saying for years, that Jacksonville Jaguars fans don't exist. Because
it could be that.
How?
It could be that.
Because
I've never met one.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've been around forever. Miami Dolphins have been around forever. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have been around maybe 20 years.
Yeah, Tampa's been around a little longer than I've been on this earth, about 5 years longer than I've been on this earth. Yeah. And Miami was in, I believe they were in the All-American Conference. The original AFC. Yeah, they've been around forever. They were established. Jacksonville just came out of nowhere like a thief in the night, like 96, 95, 96.
And I think to myself, it's like, people who are true, like fans, it's like, unless you're local to that area, you can't sit here and say that you were a Jags fan. You can't. Because were you going to sit there and say that, even if you lived in Jacksonville, you lived in Duval, if you live in Duval, you're going to sit here and tell me that you weren't rooting for the Dolphins or the Bucks a few years ago?
Right.
So you just automatically decided. And kind of like the same with the Ravens fans. Ravens fans were either Colts or some of them were Redskins fans. Some of them were. And it's like, I get it.
Don't forget the CFL Stallions.
Yeah, them. But I get it. It's a local thing. You're from Baltimore. Your state doesn't have a team. You want to root for your team. But you can't really. It's just like, I don't feel like Jacksonville Jaguars fans really exist. They're all bots.
Right. They're all trying to sell you hardening cream for your junk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a scam.
Yeah, they're trying to sell you some blue chip bills.
A hard rock life, more like a hard rock life. That's really what they use for the promotions. It's stupid. All
Let's
right.
get out of here.
I also wanted to point out that Josh Allen's tied for the defender. Josh Allen is tied for the league in sacks at 6. Last year, Jacksonville picked up another pass rusher. Where is he? He's Tavon Walker. What happened to him?
It's just there.
He's there, but he's not concerned. Or I don't know, but yeah, we'll need to get himself out there, be seen, because I ain't seen him yet.
This is what it is. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. As high as they picked him, it's going to be hard to put him out of mind when you're paying him that much. So he needs to perform.
He was the first overall pick. That's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we ain't heard his name once this season.
I never heard his name before he got picked, so that was crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. So that'd be like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11. I don't know why they're so high. You cannot put this on me. This is strictly the system. My system that I use to do this. Because if I was sitting here trying to actually go and order them 32 every week, my head would explode. Or at least it'd roll away. Something. But I wouldn't be able to use it. So, my system says the Browns are the number 11 team in my Mighty Morphin Power Rankings.
I mean,
they lost 28-3 to Baltimore. But defense is solid. But where the fuck is Deshaun?
that's the problem. So, Deshaun Watson, and this is. I want to believe that this story is true because it just seems like it makes a lot of sense, and I feel like we're gonna have to discuss it in the episode.
Oh, right.
But so Stefanski, like Sean was approved. He was cleared to go play. Stefanski was said, "I'm gonna leave it up to you, but you're clear to play." Deshaun Jackson waited till right before the game and said, "Nah, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
I'm not playing." That's why a lot of people weren't able to make the changes in fantasy because you literally got no time to make that change.
Way to hold it down for your locker room, quarterback. That's not going to backfire on at all.
And the thing is, it's like, yeah, he'll likely lose the locker room, but not even in that. It's just like you said earlier when we were talking about this, you said it's nothing they can really do.
Right,
Nothing they can do about it.
Nothing they can do.
Because you paid this man.
He owns them. He owns them for the next few years.
It's like, what you gonna do about it?
Right.
You want to cut me?
What are you going to do?
It's like, you can cut me right now. I'm gonna be good for like the next 2-3 years.
Next 2-3 generations. Just off of that sign-in bonus, next 2-3 generations should be good. Yeah, it's ridiculous and offensive.
I'd go rob that man and he would still be good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, karma's going to get him anyway in the end. Mm-hmm. So, let him keep burning bridges, pissing everybody off he comes across. Hey, that's on him. Meanwhile, the Browns are out here flailing, looking terrible without him. And not especially great with him. But, they were 2-1 with him this season. I think it was more the defense, though. I like that Browns defense. I like I like the pieces they have. Oh, well. You got anything else with Deshaun and the Browns?
No, not without getting myself upset.
All right. You sure you don't want to go on?
I think I want to save that for an episode.
All right, yeah.
Say about
it. All right.
I want to wait till we get a chance to dedicate it.
Well, stay tuned for that episode, cis and non-cisgendered people. Number 10. We're going to Tampa Bay. Our first 3-win team, I think. I have not been paying attention to that sort of shit. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New Orleans Saints 26-9. I like this Bucs team. I don't know how they keep winning. All I know is they beat me up on defense and they don't screw up on offense. They'll get that big things in the air, but they're not going for touchdowns. So, for the time being, they're doing enough to beat everybody in front of them. I like this team. What do you think?
I like it because I'm a Baker Mayfield fan.
They have those?
Yeah,
Good Lord.
I like him. He's interesting. He's funny. He's got personality. But it's just like, what?
Right.
Because they have a really good team.
They do. They
But
have plenty
what?
of pieces. We just had no expectations for them this year.
Yeah, it was just. I think it's the reason why is because of the way the coaching staff situation was just handled. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was completely mismanaged. They went out because basically Arians just dropped out at the last minute. Didn't tell nobody. He was just, oh yeah, Todd, you had a coach. Basically saying, Todd, I don't care how you feel about this coaching staff. You're gonna have to deal with it. Then the coaching staff that was succeeding for a while, you just was like, no, like y'all get out of here. Then he was just
Right.
like, he just completely said fuck continuity. So it was just like I did not want to be in support of Todd Bowles because it's just like you didn't even give it a chance to put your system in place
Right.
before you like let everybody go. But it Baker Mayfield, he's proven me wrong. I mean, Todd Bowles has proven me wrong, honestly. But Baker Mayfield is just like he gets me excited because it's like I like Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield gets you excited.
He's just funny. He has personality, and it's just like you see this guy running around the field. He's just
Well, you got to have fun out there.
Baker Mayfield looks like the kind of guy that would be like you'd hang out with him, and someone would say the, the N word, and Baker Mayfield would be like overly upset about it.
Yeah, I know
It's
those
just
people.
it's type to be like, can't say that. Say it again, I'm gonna hit you in the mouth. That's what Baker Mayfield makes me think. Make me think that he just doesn't like it. You're not allowed to say that.
Okay. I don't know what to do with that information, but I
See,
hope
I
he
just
is that
like
person for his
I
sake.
like I like Baker Mayfield.
You made that clear.
I like my daughter too.
Well, what?
It's got
Well, we hope so. We here at the bench hope you all like your children. At least like your children. We know they're a pain in the ass.
workers, baby.
Mm. We're going to take a trip down to the Pacific Northwest to the Seattle Seahawks and that number 9 team after beating the New York Giants 24-3.
That's too low.
Yeah, I know they should have put a hurting on them. But they did. 11 sacks for the Seahawks. They got a 97-yard pick six, another interception, and a fumble recovery that gave Trent inside the 10. The defense beat the shit out of Danny Jones, and Danny Jones took it like a champion and asked for more. Will he be back next week? I don't know. He's going to feel it, though. He's feeling it now. What you got on Seattle on that dominant ass defense this week?
I like what I'm saying. It's Pete Carroll knows what the fuck he's doing,
Yes.
and I love it. He knows what he's doing.
Yes, you do.
Not only is that he knows what he's doing, he knows Smith. It's just like I wanted to think, like people want to believe that Geno Smith, his year last year was a fluke, and he comes in and he's still out here
Mm-hmm.
performing like he belongs here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Geno Smith was out of the league, retired, giving it up. I thought he hung it up.
Mm.
Then he came back last season and he did what he did. And I'm like, all right, that's it. Geno's not going to do it again. He's coming out here performing like he belongs here. He's like,
Does
I
he
belong here.
do? He just had to take a couple shortcuts to get where he belonged. He had to
Loves
go
it.
a different path because he got his jaw broke by a teammate. So his path went a little differently. They lost faith in him. Being the Jets, they made the wrong decision on Geno Smith. And that sent him on a horrible path that dragged him around the league and finally brought him to Seattle, where he can finally unleash the talent that he had on.
I love it. I love to
Man,
see
it's a
it.
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see Geno shine. It's also a beautiful thing to see a team get 11 sacks on somebody. Like, that's brutal.
I mean, any chance of seeing Danny Dimes potentially
Yes.
to see Daniel Jones, and I hate to say that I want to see Daniel Jones get injured. I mean,
You don't want to see him get injured, but you want to see him get injured. You want to see him suffer. I get it.
it's like I want Daniel Jones to consider sitting out. Like maybe saying that I need some load management for the rest of the season.
Didn't stop Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
He could have played. I mean, he shouldn't have played. Deshaun Watson should have played, but he was off somewhere, getting a happy ending, I assume. Somewhere he didn't belong, in some room, on some table, doing things he's probably not in his contract. So
He told me he was at Quiznos.
He was at Quiznos with his tongue in a booty. Analingus, y'all. It's now for the week. That was our sponsor for this week. All right. Number 8. The Baltimore Ravens. 3-1 after smashing Cleveland and Deshaun. I mean, no, not Deshaun, whoever his backup was, because Deshaun didn't play. Baltimore has the 7th best rushing defense, and, they had 10 tackles for loss this week against Cleveland's defense as they shut down that whole offense. Let me restart that sentence. Baltimore's defense had 10 tackles for loss against Cleveland. That's what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
More good news for Baltimore. Mark Andrews is back to his old self. He had a great game this week, and it's the first great game he's had this season, possibly in a couple of weeks going back into last season. It's been a while for him. But it's good to have him back. It's good to see Lamar. He doesn't have to carry too much of the weight. It's nice. I mean, if they can play like this every week, they're going to be a real factor come January. And I love to see it personally. Like the whole rest of this list, almost all these teams. But what you thinking about B-More?
I'm always happy to see Baltimore winning. I mean, they're just doing what they're supposed to do. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I'm not so much an OBJ fan. Lamar Jackson did put his foot in his mouth, so he's going to throw for 6,000 yards.
Yep.
We already know that's not happening.
We knew that already.
It's good to see them winning. I'm happy for them. I hope they keep it up.
You're talking about tearing down the harbor side. All that stuff around the harbor. The shopping district around the harbor. Talking about tearing it all down.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing.
Simulation if they do that.
Like I spent a lot of my childhood wandering around that area, but whatever.
Is that where the ESPN zone was to be at?
ESPN zone, Hard Rock Cafe, Planet Hollywood, all that stuff was down there at one point or another. Barnes and Nobles. Yeah.
That's how I discovered I knew how to throw a football.
Good old days, but all of that's gone now. As far as I know, I ain't been down there in years.
Well, the ESPN's gone.
ESPN's long gone. All of those places I just named are gone. Yeah, that's a tragedy. The whole city's going to shit. Whatever. I'm not there. Don't matter to me. Number 7. Speaking of places that are going to shit, Detroit and the Detroit Lions. They beat Green Bay. Who hasn't? Detroit has 12 sacks in their last 2 games, and this week, Jameson Williams is coming back from his gambling suspension. Wow. As dominant as they've been, they're going to get better. What you think?
Yeah, exactly what you say. 100%. Happy to see it. Derek Campbell.
Yes.
Sing his praises every week.
You do. You should.
Campbell is the kind of coach that I want. If anybody was to be like, hey, you want to be a part of the coach tree, there's only 2 coaches. No, I'm going to say 3. There's only 3 coaches that I would ever coach under if I had to. Andy Reid, of course.
Of course.
Nick Sirianni.
Interesting.
And Dan Campbell.
Interesting. Give me Dan Campbell and one guy from the Netflix show. Jason Brown, yeah. Jason Brown.
For Bishop Sycamore?
No. I don't know that guy. He ripped me the hell off. That was a shark. No. From the Netflix show. Last Chance. For football, Last Chance.
Last Chance U.
Yeah. That dude, the second coach of Last Chance U. That guy, I went to a line for him while he smoked a cigar. Make threatening phone calls to his students. Motherfuckers is tripping. You got anything else for Detroit?
Detroit is the winner, and they're going to keep getting better. They'll get to at least 5 before the year ends.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's where they're going to top off, though. They're still ceiling at 5, though.
Yeah, they got a lot of competition for it, but it's all a fight at the top here.
Because I feel like the top 4 is going to be fluctuating between 49ers, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Cowboys, and they're going to keep shuffling that 4, 5 right there.
Well, I mean, Higgins's like, wow, he gets my whole top 5, but not in the way to order. But I mean, that's just he's left though. I mean, he got my number 6 team. He missed them, of course. The Miami Dolphins, who got their ass whipped, but due to my system, they're still in there at number 6. I'd say they deserve it. It was their first loss. Everybody takes a loss. I mean, it was not a good loss for them. It was not pretty. It was that sloppy ass defense finally took their lumps that they'd been sneaking by and getting away with it up to this point. And they lost Jalen Ramsey and Teron Armstead. So, there's a lineman and then the number 1 corner. Those are hurt pieces. But still, that offense is fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. Devin Akane is a threat for Rookie of the Year right now. Yeah, the boy looks good out there. The boy, 200-yard games in a row? He's on a roll. He's looking good. He's definitely outrushing Beyond. That's for damn sure. So, I mean, that's who if it comes down to index, it's those two anyway, because Gibbs is already out of the running. So, that's who it's coming down to.
If Booker continues to play the way he is.
Cook is the favorite right now. He's got to be. But, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that would be my 1, 2, 3. Or maybe I'd find a way to put Stroud in there, probably. Yeah, something along that. Yeah.
He's going to level out. I feel like he's going to level out by week 8. He's just going to be doing.
Well, they all hit that wall eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see that. I could see a few of them, like weeks away from hitting them walls. Giggity.
Houston's gonna make an offensive coordinator change for the better of C.J. Stroud this offseason.
You hope so. They should do something, do anything they can to help him get better.
Yep.
I like their weapons, but they're not great weapons. I mean, you're led by Tank Dell and Nico Collins. It's not great, but it's something, it's something. They're using it to their best ability. They're succeeding. So it's a testament to Stroud and the whole offense. To whatever they're doing is working over there.
Houston falls. Let's say Houston gets a top 5 pick. Knowing that Caleb Williams, let's say Houston wants to, top 5 pick, Houston gets it. Caleb Williams and Shador, they're like, nah, I'm not doing it. So that's when these other teams are just going to draft for need. I feel like Marvin Harrison Jr. falls to the Texans.
That would be beautiful. God damn, that would be beautiful. That would be perfect. That's what they need. He's not too big, but he's big enough. He's got good size, I'd say. He's got good hands. He gets open. He makes plays in space. That would be a great pick for Houston.
Yeah.
But I feel like Houston's going to be drafting a little somewhere around the 10, somewhere close to 10. Because they're going to compete. They're not going to roll over the
sure.
season. They're not chasing a draft pick or anything like that. They're chasing wins. They want to win.
Yep. D'Amico wants to win.
Mm-hmm. D'Amico's got something to prove anyway out there.
Absolutely.
So, as long as they keep going out every week, playing hard for their coach, playing hard for their team, Texans are going to be a factor. Anything else? All right. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys. They beat New England 38-3. Yay, they beat up a bad Patriots team. Bill want to fight about it. That ain't mean nothing. That was an irrelevant ass win. Another irrelevant ass win. They beat up the teams they're supposed to beat up. We need to see them challenged. I need to see Dallas challenged. Because that defense, it's a bad motherfucker, but I need to see them challenged. I need to see somebody that can punch back. And I feel like we'll get that this week when they go to San Francisco. Game of the week.
I want to say this about Dallas. Because if they can't beat San Francisco, I'm going to say this. Because last year, Philadelphia were winning. They were just winning at will.
Mm-hmm.
They were beating the teams. They're beating the different team. They're beating the bad team.
Right.
Now, Dallas, look at their schedule. They played the Giants. Second week of the season. I don't know where they played, but they beat them. So, wasn't a good team.
Right.
They played the Cardinals. Took an L.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just played another bad team.
Yeah. Yeah, you see it. They're not really being challenged. That's why they're rolling over most of these teams. And the one team that got ahead of them, they couldn't compete. Like the one team that said that was actually moving the ball at them, it just continued. They didn't stop it.
So what I think is going to happen is if they lose to San Francisco, that is everything you need to know about Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll get into that much deeper on the review episode. The preview episode, a preview episode, which was usually on Thursdays to coincide with the first game of the week.
Yep.
So yeah, y'all should expect that. That's coming very shortly. Got anything else on Dallas?
Dallas sucks.
Dallas sucks. I agree. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. They could be lower. I wouldn't be mad if I had them lower. They barely got by the Jets, 23-20. They got they're on a 3-game winning streak after losing that first game of the season. But they still don't look like what we've come to expect about the Chiefs. You got any comments?
I mean, they lost. They didn't resign Bieniemy, so that's their karma. That's their issue. They're going to have to figure themselves out. Matt Nagy couldn't get Justin Fields. Couldn't get a guy as dynamic as Justin Fields together. I mean, we can say that nobody can do it with Justin Fields, but Matt Nagy couldn't do it with Justin Fields. He's definitely not going to get it with Pat Mahomes.
Right. So it's not so much Bieniemy is the problem as Matt Nagy's the problem. Yeah. He's running the offense he tried to run in Chicago last year, and obviously that's not a worthy or a competitive or smart or whatever what I'm looking for offense. It's not a good one. It's not a good system. It does not work, no matter who your quarterback is. If they're making Mahomes look average at this point. It's not good. Yeah. I don't think Nagy will be the head coach next year. Somebody will be dumb enough to hire him to be a head coach of their team anyway. So
it'll be LA Chargers.
Probably. Chiefs, I believe, have one defensive interception this season. Yeah. That's not great either. But a win is a win, and they got 3 in a row, so they're moving up the ladder on this list. Anything else to contribute for that one?
Nope.
All right, now we're in the final 3. This is the countdown where all these teams, 2 of these teams matter. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. 5 total touchdowns last week for Josh Allen. 4 in the air, 1 on the ground versus Miami. They won 48-20 against a high-powered Miami team. I mean, the Miami didn't really perform as we expected, but they beat up a bad defense. But their offense now after that game, they look a lot better, much better. Downside is they lost Tre'Davious White for the year. I don't really have any questions. I'm just open to hear whatever you feel about the Buffalo Bills.
Like the Buffalo Bills are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They have an identity, and they have to cash in on. They got to keep moving on that identity.
Yeah.
Until I see the Buffalo Bills start failing, I can't really comment. Josh Allen isn't doing horrible, so he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
So that's where my head is at.
I mean, 4 touchdowns in the air, that's a really good game. So, I mean, if that's what their standard's going to be for this season, I'm all for it. But I don't see them dropping 48 too many weeks this season, or even 35, because I feel like they'll revert back to what they were in the season. It was a struggling offense. Yeah. They were there. I don't much know if their running game's as strong as it could be, but they're number 3 on this list because they beat a team that was number 3 on this list. That's what I do know. I don't like Buffalo as much as I like Miami, but you got to reward the winners. So Buffalo stays number 3. Miami dropped to number 6. Nothing else?
Nothing else. Let's get to the 49ers, number 2.
No. Because the 49ers are still, other than losing to the Eagles last season in the playoffs, 49ers have won about, I want to say like 13 in a row at this point. Outside of regular season games, they've won like 13 in a row. I don't have the exact number, but it's dominant. So that's why they're not number 2. And the Eagles are number 2 after beating the Commanders in overtime. Because they're number 2 because the secondary is just not good. I mean, we knew that going into the season, but seeing it perform and fail, it's awful. It's if we keep trying to play this free agency market, there's nobody out there. But I mean, we signed Bradley Roby. That's a solid pick, but that's not enough. That's definitely not going to be enough because Bradley Roby's prone to getting burnt just the same as all those other cornerbacks we got sitting on there outside of our main 2, Slay and who am I missing? I mean, Maddox is out for the year. Who am I missing? Who's the other one?
Bradbury.
Bradbury, that's the name. That's the name. Yeah, I was trying to blank on his name. Yeah, so outside of those 2, there isn't really shit. I mean, Roby's a great signing, but he's not going to save the nickel position or anything of that sort. No. We need a lot of help. It's time to make a move, Howie. Safety, linebacker, do what you got to do. Buda Baker's out there waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
So do what you got to do, Howie. Stop playing around. We know you can do it. We believe in you. What you got?
So I heard something earlier today, and I didn't want to believe it, but it made a lot of sense. I saw Brian Baldinger. He basically broke down some plays of Jalen Hurts. And what he's saying is that Jalen Hurts bails very fast. He's not sitting in his pocket. He's not trusting his offensive line to pick up those blitzes. And I see that and he would sit in the pocket just a bit longer after his blockers pick up that blitz. He can get some wide open passes. I think he just needs to give it like that extra split second in the pocket. He'll see it.
That is interesting.
And a lot of what he's doing is he's rolling out to the wrong side. He's rolling out to the side where he doesn't have any routes being ran to. I think that's an issue for him.
That's a stupid thing to do. But what is your plan out there? No, see, I can't see Hurts being that stupid.
I think he's just a little flustered. He's going to get comfortable. I think it's just a matter of, because Again, he has the same quarterback coach as last year, which that means he's probably still going to have the same uh, mentality as far as the type of quarterback he's going to play as. However, your offensive schemes is different. You're not running the same Shane Steichen offense
No,
that's
they're
just
not.
like hell bent on you. So I think it's a matter of him getting comfortable with that new system.
Yeah. I mean, new system, new pieces. I mean, his backfield's kind of different this year. So,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's new pieces up and down the board. It's a new, most importantly, it's a new system. I don't know how much they've changed it, but from what I've seen, there is a lot different. Like, there wasn't so many RPOs as there were, which definitely takes a chunk out of his ability because that's one of the things that he did best. And if you're not going to put him in a situation where he can do what he does best, there's going to be a drop off in his abilities and his stats. So that's what we're having here. I don't think there's anything really wrong with them. They're winning the games. They're outplaying their opponents. They're strategizing and scheming ways to be successful. I'm fine with it. I don't expect them to blow people out every week. I don't even expect them to win every week. I just expect them to be out there competing and come the end of the season to be in contention for the Super Bowl. That's what I expect. I'm not worried about week 5. I'm worried about week 20.
Absolutely.
So as long as we're there and we're all rolling come the end of the season, come playoffs January, I'm good. That's all they got to do is keep improving every week until we get to the end of the season. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. Eventually, we will surpass this number 1 team because top to bottom, the Eagles have the best roster. So,
absolutely. Okay, and that's all we have for today, everybody.
Hey, we didn't say number 1.
Damn it, they were my number 1.
They were your number 1, but that are not what the numbers say. The numbers say the 49ers are still the number 1 team in my Mighty Morphin power rankings. Why? 4 touchdowns from McCaffrey. Ayuk's having a breakout season, and Purdy's still not screaming over the team. He's still not failing, and that's all he's got to do. He's a successful game manager, and at some point we just got to acknowledge that's what he is, and he's good at it. Is he the best quarterback in the league? Fuck no. He's probably about 38th. But in the system and what he's required to do in the system, he does that very well. Better than Garoppolo, probably. Better than Lance, who knows? So, I mean, who's to say you couldn't just line up any quarterback in a system and be successful? Who's to say? Either way, they're on some long-ass winning streak, and they're in this season 4-0 and dominating just as we've come to expect. McCaffrey's MVP candidate, and this weekend, we got to show up or shut up between the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. So mark your calendars because that's the game you want to see. But we'll discuss that later on in our preview episode. Anything you got to say?
No, I cannot stand the 49ers, and I hope they lose, but I hope they win at the same time.
What?
Yeah.
You're confusing me, man.
This isn't, I'm not going to get my way to this weekend. I hate it. God.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Should be. It's all your fault.
Yeah. That's what your mom said.
Oh, you would know.
Anywho. What else you got?
I got nothing.
Any questions? Nothing stupid sportsy shit you want to discuss or bothering your brain? Nothing you want to get off your chest?
I do want to get us something off my chest.
Okay. Let's have it.
Dallas Cowboys fans are annoying.
Okay.
Like, so what if Dak has only thrown 1 interception, and the rest of the total of interceptions thrown by quarterbacks in NFC East is 14? Why?
Right. Huh.
One interception versus total of 3 different quarterbacks. That's
Right.
what you're doing, Dallas.
Oh, they're
Okay,
just desperate to sound good. They're just desperate.
but here's my question. Y'all like you want to talk about how good Dallas Dak is compared to everybody else. Dak lost to the Cardinals. The Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals. Yeah, it's time to stop being egotistical asshats. You have like people have been kidnapped, turned up missing, and have made it back home before the Cowboys have won more than one game in the playoffs.
Yep.
Like they've gone, people come home. Like Brittany Grenier was arrested in Russia, came back home before the Cowboys made it back to the Super Bowl. Damar Hamlin lived a whole life, 25 years, died, came back to life before the Cowboys
Well,
made it back to the Super Bowl. I'm so sick of the Cowboys. Before y'all start talking again,
damn, come on. I'm
win the
just sick of
Super.
the fans thinking that they're any good every year. Every
Yeah,
year with
like
this shit.
I just want the Cowboys to just stop talking shit. This if fans stop talking shit until you
Right.
win something. Win something. Win
Yes.
something.
Something.
Like
At this
me
point,
as
we
an
take a
Eagles fan,
divisional title.
I wasn't actively saying fuck the Cowboys. I wasn't saying all that because we never won nothing. I ain't won nothing. I didn't feel like I had the right to talk that shit.
Mm.
But we won that Super Bowl in 2017. And guess what? The Eagles won the Super Bowl, yeah. Won the Super Bowl before y'all made it back. So I'm gonna say this: fuck the Cowboys, because we won something
Right.
recently. Recently, Cowboys haven't won nothing.
I mean, Belichick about to get fired, and he won what 6 Super Bowls and been to what 10 since the Cowboys last made it. Made it. He went to the championship game. So yeah, they shit. The Cowboys are
Yeah.
not a wonderfully run organization, despite the fact that we have Jerry Jones as we're looking at space in our screens all the time. Just because he
Oh,
gets all the attention, his mouth is always running, but what they're
yeah.
not doing is winning when it counts. So why,
I
why do
have
you keep
one
putting
more.
your mic in his face? Stop supporting mediocrity, media.
I
Stop
got one
shoving the
more thing
microphone
before
in
we leave.
average ass nothing burgers. We don't care what they have to say. Okay? We don't, no one wants to hear what the losers have to say. No one cares what the losers' opinion. You know what I lost. If it's the only chance, like, all the time. My team is now winning. I am incapable of being a winning franchise. I am a whole fan base that is only for the fucking winning to set fucking years ago. All of these Lions fans, bring your hands up, Jazz. Look at reality. Realize this at the age 2023. Shut the fuck up.
And before we end it on that note, because that's a great note to end it on, I just want to say one thing. Eagles got Jalen Carter, you got Miles Smith. We said
Yes.
something earlier about players that just don't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Miles Smith was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't see him where he at.
He ain't nowhere. He ain't gonna be nowhere no time soon. He's a next year player. He ain't a this year player. He's a
Well,
potential player.
and that's where we're gonna end our episode. Fuck the Cowboys.
Fuck the
And that's
Cowboys.
all we got to say today.
Mm-hmm.
If you like what you heard, go ahead, hit the like button. If you want your friends to see this, share the video.
Word.
And if you want to look forward, or you looking forward to our next episode, subscribe. If
Absolutely.
you
Get
feel
in
we
there.
missed something, you feel like we missed something, go ahead, put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. And if I like your comment, I just might invite you to the show.
Maybe.
Huh?
We need people
Until
to
ne-
come in, talk this shit.
Absolutely, yeah. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, the pond is warm. Come take a seat on the bench.
Peace.